questioning Manish Sisodia for the second time. The first round of questioning, which happened on March 7th for around 5 hours. The second round of questioning happened today. The Enforcement Directorate has arrested Delhi's former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Let me go straight to Arunima. Arunima, the CBI said that they do not need to question him further. It is a multi-agency probe, and now he will be in the custody of the Enforcement Directorate.
I would say this is on extreme lines. The reason I say that is because in past also CBI and Enforcement Directorate have worked jointly in most of the cases. Once CBI finishes its probe, the Enforcement Directorate, which is looking at the money laundering aspect of this entire excise policy case, was expected to want Mr. Sisodia's custody. Now, why does it want Mr. Sisodia's custody? Essentially because Enforcement Directorate in its initial charge sheet has alleged that Vijay Nair was working at the behest of Mr. Sisodia, that he was lobbying with the South Group to get the profit margin changed from 5% to 12% at the behest of the Deputy Chief Minister, at the behest of the Aam Aadmi Party. That is the allegation that ED has made. When it questioned Manish Sisodia in Tihar jail, CBI has said this, that Mr. Sisodia during custody has repeatedly not cooperated, quote unquote. The same stances of the Enforcement Directorate as well, that even when they were trying to ask him about his association with Vijay Nair and Dinesh Arora while he was in Tihar jail, he was evasive. That's the reason they have decided to move in for custody, so that they can question him in their custody. And the Enforcement Directorate has leeway under the PMLA. Whatever an accused says to an investigating officer of Enforcement Directorate is admissible evidence in court. And that is why it is even that much more difficult for a suspect under ED's custody to try and evade like it can under Prevention of Corruption Act with CBI. So things are looking even more challenging for Manish Sisodia and for the Aam Aadmi Party.
Yes, and the ED charge sheet, Arunima, clearly talks about his role. In the CBI charge sheet, he is accused number 1. And the ED, in fact, obtained a local court's permission to question him. He was questioned for the first time on 7th. Today was the second round of questioning. You are saying that this was almost like a natural course or the law taking its course. But the larger question is, what next for Manish Sisodia? If the ED goes ahead and arrests him, which has happened right now, will his questioning continue in Tihar jail, or will he be questioned now at the ED headquarters?
So if the Enforcement Directorate is seeking his custody, that's the reason they have arrested him. Otherwise, like they have done in the past 2 days, they could have questioned him in judicial custody as well. But they're seeking his custodial interrogation. So if the court grants that custodial interrogation, Sisodia will have to be moved out of Tihar jail and moved into the custody of Enforcement Directorate, where his questioning will go on. That's the procedure. But of course, Sisodia's team is going to challenge it. They have already, when he was in CBI custody, said that this is just a pressure tactic to force him to quote unquote confess. And because he's not confessing to what the IO wants, he's being mentally harassed. That's a charge that his defense team made against CBI. They are bound to make these charges against ED as well. But like I told you, PMLA, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the act is designed in a way, and it has now got the nod of the Supreme Court, that it is loaded heavily in favor of the investigating officer and heavily against the accused. So this arrest by ED queers the pitch that much more for Manish Sisodia and for Aam Aadmi Party. You saw Satyendra Jain been in jail for almost a year now, not getting bail because of the way PMLA is designed. So it's a law, looks like for us now.
So it's going to be a long road now, perhaps, for Manish Sisodia. It's only getting tough for him. He has already resigned and 2 new ministers have been sworn in. We have Amit Malviya of the BJP now joining us on the phone line.